Welcome back to Real Talk, the show where we sit down with real investors, doing real deals, and uncover what's actually happening in today's market. Today, I'm joined by someone who's actually been making some serious noise in the East Coast and also on the Mid Coast side. Wally Masri, co-founder of Niid Home Solutions, one of the most consistent as well as well-run investment wholesaling operations out there in the market right now. He's running high volume acquisitions, handling dispo at a huge scale, and also building an internal machine that moves like a modern investment company. Wally, appreciate you on jumping on the show with me. If you don't mind, would you give us a quick intro about who you are, what markets do you operate in, and what exactly is Niid Home Solutions all about?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Wally. Me and Nick both started this. The main markets we actually started in are Tennessee and Michigan. And we just recently expanded like pretty much semi-nationwide. So we're pretty much doing deals all over for the most part.
Amazing.
What's Niid Home Solutions? How we came up with the name, just my name is Walid. ID is at the end. Nick is Nick. And I need a home. I need a home solution. So that's that's how it came about. Yeah.
Amazing. And did you and Nick knew each other like way before? Like were you like business partners from the previous business, or is it something which you guys started together for the first time?
Yeah, me and Nick have been really close, like ever since like early college days. We always kind of joked around about starting a business together. He was always in the mortgage side of things. I actually worked at Zillow for probably a little over 6 years. And I thought I was going to stay there. Things kind of went downhill over there. So I started wholesaling with someone that worked at Zillow prior in California. And then Nick kind of came over to my place talking like, hey, I want to start wholesaling, kind of want to see how you do things. And then we just got onto the topic of, hey, why don't we start a business together? And then the rest is history.
Amazing. Give me just 1 minute. So, like, how exactly did you get into real estate? Like, what exactly was your first deal like? Like, was there someone who was like motivating you to get into it, or was it something which you always wanted to do at a very young age?
Well, no, not at all. I was at Zillow, so I was around real estate nonstop. I started off on the sales side, basically cold calling real estate agents, selling them advertising. And then after that, I coached real estate agents and helped them grow their business utilizing Zillow. So that's where I started. And then I stumbled upon wholesaling because I saw two guys that actually left Zillow and got into the wholesaling space. And I didn't really know what they were doing, but I saw that they were making money. So I was like, what's going on here? So I reached out to them and kind of started picking their brains, figured out what they were doing. And then I ended up working with one of those guys for about a year before me and Nick started doing our own thing.
That's amazing. I mean, that's an amazing start. And what exactly does Need Solutions look like as of right now? Like, what's your team size? What are the markets you're operating in? And what type of deals like are you guys doing? Like, just can you give us like a quick breakdown on what is happening there?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's really just me and Nick. I'm on the acquisition side. He's on the dispo side of things. As far as markets, as I mentioned, we started primarily in Tennessee, mainly Knoxville. That was like our first market. And then we branched out into other areas of Tennessee, added Michigan. Then from there, what was our next market after that? Did a little bit on Ohio, then Missouri, and then now as of about 2 months ago, started like kind of semi-nationwide, so like Texas, Florida, and a few other Indiana, and a few other markets as well.
And that's amazing. And obviously, you mentioned that you're on the acquisition side, right? So, how exactly does that entire acquisition process look like for you?
So as of right, so something that I've always kind of done, and this was something that was ingrained in my head when I worked at Zillow, and I hear it a lot now as well, is like speed to lead. closer control definitely helps with that, ensuring they get reached out to the second that they inquire. So with that being said, I like to use it more so as like a safety net, because getting them on the phone is huge. So that's very important. So I want to make sure whenever a lead comes in, I'm getting to them right away, right? Pitching them, closing them, and then from there, after they sign the agreement, it then goes over to Nick. So initially when we started, me and Nick were both doing acquisition and dispo. So we then ended up going to one of Eric Klein's events, and it was Sean Serrani that was like, "Hey, you guys got to split it up." And then that helped us a lot, just as far as like our overall process and system and just things being a lot more streamlined. So ever since we did that, I feel like that was a big help. And we've been doing it like that since. So I take care of Axe, Nick does the dispo, and we both trust each other, and everything's been great.
Amazing. I mean, it's pretty amazing that you guys have been in the market for quite some time, know how exactly it works.
Well, only a year, bro. It's been only a little bit over a year. Yeah,
Oh,
so
wow.
we're fairly new. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And it wasn't easy. We started in the beginning, to kind of give you an idea. When we got into the Knoxville market, I was locking up deals at like what I was locking them up for in California, which is about like 75% of ARV, 70% of ARV. Come to find out, and we were locking up deals, and then me and Nick were like, dude, why aren't we able to dispo these? And we were like, oh, they're just trying to lowball us. Like, no, we got it at a good price, blah, 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 blah. And then come to find out that we needed to be at 65%, maybe even lower in this market. And what definitely helped us was actually joining Eric Klein's community. So that was like a big eye opener for us. And that kind of helped us expand into other exit strategies, such as, actually doing novations, doing them the right way, seller finance, things of that sort, and kind of like understanding the different exit strategies. That way we're not leaving any stone unturned. So that was a big turning point for us. And to give you an idea, our first like 4 or 5 months, we were just going off of savings. Like we were dead broke. And we're like, hey, we got to make this work. And thankfully we did. We still got a lot of growing to do. We are nowhere near where we need to be. We're at a point where we're consistent now, so we're grateful for that. Money's flowing, we're closing deals like monthly. But again, this is definitely not where we want to be. We want to be a lot bigger than this, closing a lot more deals, and we're moving in the right direction, and that's all we can ask for as of right now. Keep putting our head down and grinding it out.
Nice. And how many deals would you say you guys are doing consistently in a month?
About 2 to 3 deals a month is what we're doing right now.
That's pretty good. And I think this is something which you can maybe share with a lot of
We need to double that, though. We need to double that for at least, yeah.
Yeah, but then I think it's still a pretty solid start, right? Saying that since it's just 1 year old and you guys are obviously quickly catching up in this space. But what would you guys say, what's the biggest mistake you guys see new wholesalers or investors making just when they are coming into this market? And I think that's like a huge tip, which a lot of guys want to know, because I know everybody they come up with, everybody I know in the wholesaling space, they make a lot of mistakes in the very beginning. 6 to 7 months is just trial and error. They use up all the savings and then they see the money start coming in.
I'm going to give kind of like 2 of the biggest pointers that have always stuck with me. One is mindset. I think mindset is huge, especially when you're in sales. If your head isn't right, you're folding fast, right? So just understanding, like, being in sales, like there's going to be rejection. Don't have that fear of rejection. Just pick up the phones, dial away. Get a no, pick it right back up. You're one call closer to a yes. So mindset is huge, especially in this game. So that's one. And I would say the second biggest factor of success is being a student of the game. Industry is always changing. Things are always evolving. And really understanding those right? And adapting, I feel is huge. Whoever doesn't adapt gets left behind, And not only that, like what me and Nick do, like on a daily basis, we have a call every morning, just to keep things sharp. Like we'll do sometimes we'll watch a motivational video. Sometimes we will, watch like a sales video, something of that, and then we'll talk about it after, like, hey, this is my takeaway from it, and then I'll give my side, he'll give his side. Again, it keeps us on our toes. That way we're constantly learning. We're starting the day off on a positive note, and going from there. So I would say those are probably the two biggest pointers that I hold close to me.
And I think it's really positive that you have like a teammate who pushes you equally, just like you want to push yourself, right? To scale
Absolutely.
as well as move to the next level. And I think that's like a huge gem these days. Like you don't see like people coming in with the same mindsets always together. There's always one person who's always on the move, who's always want to close it, who always want to push themselves, and then the other one, they'll be like just what do you call, like, hey man, this is what I want you to do it. But I think it's sort of like amazing, you guys both coming together at the same time.
Yeah,
And
and not only that, I think something that works really well with me and Nick is like we are able to put our egos aside and like take criticism from each other. Like every deal that we do, like we'll talk about, hey, what could have we done better here? Like, what did we learn from this? And the biggest thing is we're taking what we learned from each one of those deals and bringing it in to the next deal. That way, it doesn't happen again, right?
yes,
And let me tell you, being in the space, you never know what's going to happen. We just had one last week that we were supposed to close on. Few days before close, it was a novation, and the seller didn't qualify. Right. So luckily, Nick has a very extensive lending background. So he was able to tell their lender what to do to get it qualified. You know what I mean? And get them requalified. So, praying we get the clear to close today. But
yes,
yeah, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to happen. There's just so many ups and downs, and you think you're going to close, and it got to get pushed back. So there's definitely a lot of that, especially in this industry.
amazing. You know what? The more story you share about you and Nick, the more I want to like interview Nick too, and then
Yeah.
get his side of the story as well. I think that's what I'm gonna do next time.
Yeah.
But Wally, can you give us like a quick story, maybe a crazy deal which you have encountered during this short time which you have started this thing?
I don't know where to start. We've had some crazy situations. Hmm. Our first deal was actually a mobile home. That one was pretty interesting. Half the mobile home was on the neighbor's lot. Um, the seller was going through like a lot of issues. We neighbor was being a, can I cuss on here? I was gonna say, or pain.
Yeah, I
I'll
mean,
say
you're
pain in
good.
the rear. They didn't want to. Initially, they were cool with it as far as
Mhm.
like it, signing off on it and everything. And come like a little bit before close, he's like, hey, you know what? I don't want to sign off on this. Like, I want to buy the home. When we thought we were going to close, there was so much back and forth. We had a good relationship with the seller. We ended up backing out. There wasn't really much we could do. That was supposed to be our first closing, but it didn't. Um, we had one where we didn't know this, but the guy, come the day of close, he said that he wasn't selling and that he never agreed to sell. Come the day of closing, we're like, what's going on? And then we call him, and then he's like, no, I never said that. And so confused. Ended up getting a call from a brother. Come to find out that the guy had dementia, or he had Alzheimer's. We had no idea.
Yeah.
So it kind of started breaking it down, and I kind of sensed maybe something was a little off. But whenever I talked to him, everything seemed okay. But I guess it was like developing or something like that. Um, but yeah, there's just been so many random things that we've run across, and I'm sure we're going to run across a lot more things.
Like I think these are like the two crazy stories which I've never heard across till now. Like I've interviewed, I think, what, like 26 guys,
Yeah.
and I think Alzheimer's story, that's the first, and then the mobile home one.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
felt bad after. I was like, no, like I legit didn't know. I'm not, But yeah,
and I guess it is what it is. I
yeah.
think the next part, which I really want to know, is what exactly. Oh, I would. Let me just rephrase it again. I think the next part, which I want to know, is what is next for Need Home Solutions. Like, what are you guys focused on next? It's like new markets, bigger team. I know more volume. I know you already said that part, but yeah.
Volume for sure. So we want to at least double what we're doing right now. So as far as like game plan, we definitely want to adapt more of the AI that you guys have because we definitely see the power in it. It's been a game changer. So that, and then just taking on more lead is really what it comes down to. As of right now, like I'm busy, and I feel like I could probably handle a little bit more, especially with the AI. So I don't know if we want to necessarily get into a team just yet. I like how things are. I don't feel overwhelmed per se. Nick doesn't feel overwhelmed. I feel like it's just the right amount. Um, but as of right now, it's just volume. That's really the goal. Take
Amazing.
on more marketing, close more business, and go from there.
Amazing. And I think this is sort of like a tricky question, but what exactly, how exactly do you view AI development in the real estate space? Do you feel that AI is going to be replacing a lot of wholesalers or investors, or like a lot of the cold callers in the space? Is the teams going to get even more leaner and leaner as we keep going forward?
I wouldn't say it would ever replace a human interaction. I think it is a great tool to use alongside that human interaction. Like the way I look at it is more so of a safety net,
Hmm.
a really good safety net that just ensures everyone gets reached out to. Um, I feel like no matter what, face to face, human interaction, phone calls goes way further than anything else. But again, I do want to emphasize, I feel like it is a huge tool to the industry, and I feel
Hmm.
like the ones that aren't adapting, and this goes back to my point of saying like,
Yeah.
hey, being a student of the game, like understanding the industry, understanding the changes, like AI is huge, and I feel like if you're not adapting AI, you're gonna get left behind, like for sure.
Thank you so much for that insight, Wally. And one last question before we end the show. One piece of advice you could give to maybe someone who's just starting out in this space?
Ooh, I'm gonna go back to just like being a student of the game and then mindset. I'm gonna give you two. I think that's really one of the two biggest pieces because being in this industry, you got to understand like this shit is not easy. It is not easy, right? So like understanding it, being a student of the game, knowing the ins and outs, right, and putting your head down and staying positive is really the best thing that you can do. At that point, I don't see any reason why you can't do this. If you can just adapt both those two things, I feel like you'd be in a really good place.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for this session, Wally. I think this is like a super valuable, especially for every investors and operators at every single stage. And for everyone listening, if you guys want to understand what exactly a real wholesaling operations look like, reach out to Wally and Nick. These guys are running an actual deal machine. Wally, where can people reach out and connect with you, or even learn more about Need Home Solutions? Can you guys maybe?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So our Instagram, we got to get more active with our business Instagram, but it's at Niid Home Solutions, and then my personal Instagram is at and then two underscores Wally World WALLY and then World WORLD. Yeah.
Amazing. And I'll make sure that I'll post the link to both the Instagram channels on our YouTube video over here. Well, that wraps this episode of Real Talk, another conversation with a real operator doing real deals in real markets. We'll see you guys next week with another builder in the trenches. Till then, thank you. And once again, thank you so much, Wally, for being a part of this show. And take care.
Thank you, Dion. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good
Thank you,
one.
Wally.
Bye.